Right now, as you watch this video, 4 million people in Metro Manila are living directly on top of one of the most dangerous fault lines in the world. The Marikina Valley Fault System, also called the West Valley Fault and East Valley Fault, runs for 100 kilometers through the heart of the most densely populated city in the Philippines. It cuts through Quezon City, Marikina, Pasig, Taguig, Muntinlupa, and extends into Laguna and Cavite. Homes, schools, hospitals, shopping malls, and government buildings sit directly on the fault trace. And this fault is locked. It hasn't moved in 365 years. It's accumulating stress, and when it finally ruptures, it will produce a magnitude 7.2 to 7.6 earthquake that will kill tens of thousands of people and destroy hundreds of thousands of buildings. PHIVOLCS has simulated this earthquake. They've calculated the casualties. They've mapped the destruction, and the results are catastrophic. Today, we're explaining what the Valley Fault is, why it's so dangerous, why millions of people are living on top of it, and what happens when the big one finally strikes Metro Manila. Because this isn't a question of if, it's a question of when. The Marikina Valley Fault System is part of the larger Philippine Fault, a 200-kilometer strike-slip fault that runs the entire length of the archipelago. But the Valley Fault segment is special. And by special, I mean uniquely dangerous. It's divided into two main faults, the West Valley Fault and the East Valley Fault. Both run roughly north to south through Metro Manila. The West Valley Fault is the one that gets the most attention because it passes directly beneath the most densely populated areas of the city. The West Valley Fault starts in the mountains of Bulacan, north of Metro Manila, and runs southward through Quezon City, Marikina City, Pasig City, Taguig City, and Muntinlupa City, before extending into Laguna and Cavite. It's about 100 kilometers long, and along that 100 kilometers, millions of people have built their lives. The fault trace, the actual surface expression of the fault, is visible in many places. There are valleys, ridges, and offset streams that mark where the fault runs. PHIVOLCS has mapped it extensively. They've marked the fault with signs. They've published hazard maps. But despite all the warnings, development continues. Houses are built on the fault. Subdivisions sprawl across it, and people continue moving into the danger zone. The East Valley Fault runs parallel to the West Valley Fault, farther east through Rodriguez, San Mateo, and Antipolo in Rizal Province. It's less studied than the West Valley Fault, but it's equally dangerous. Both faults are strike-slip faults, meaning the ground on either side of the fault moves horizontally past each other. Think of the San Andreas Fault in California. Same mechanism. And just like the San Andreas, the Valley Fault is capable of producing devastating earthquakes. So why is this fault so dangerous? 3 reasons. First, it runs directly beneath one of the most densely populated cities in the world. Metro Manila is home to over 13 million people. The cities the fault passes through, Quezon City, Marikina, Pasig, Taguig, they're packed with people. High-rise condos, subdivisions, informal settlements, schools with thousands of students, hospitals, government buildings, all of them sitting on or near the fault. When the earthquake happens, it won't be in some remote mountain area. It will be directly beneath people's homes. Second, the fault is locked and overdue. The last major rupture of the West Valley Fault was in 1658, over 365 years ago. That earthquake destroyed Manila, which at the time was the Spanish colonial capital. Thousands of people died, churches collapsed, government buildings crumbled, and the fault has been quiet ever since. But quiet doesn't mean safe. It means the fault is locked. The tectonic plates on either side of the fault are pushing against each other, building stress. Every year that passes, more stress accumulates. And when the fault finally breaks, all that accumulated stress will be released in seconds. Paleoseismology studies, where scientists dig trenches across the fault and study past earthquakes, show that the fault ruptures approximately every 400 to 600 years. It's been 365 years. We are within the statistical window. The big one is overdue. Third, most of the buildings in Metro Manila are not earthquake resistant. This is the factor that will turn a natural disaster into a human catastrophe. Older buildings, especially those built before the 1990s, were constructed before modern seismic building codes existed. They're made of unreinforced concrete and hollow blocks. In a major earthquake, they will collapse. But even newer buildings are at risk. Corruption, cost-cutting, and poor enforcement mean that many buildings are not actually built to code. Developers cut corners. They use less rebar. They use lower quality concrete. They bribe inspectors. And the result is buildings that look safe, but will fail when the shaking starts. PHIVOLCS has run detailed simulations of what a magnitude 7.2 earthquake on the West Valley Fault would do to Metro Manila. The results are chilling. The simulation estimates 34,000 deaths, 114,000 injured, over 340,000 buildings damaged or destroyed. Those aren't abstract numbers. Those are people, families, children in schools, patients in hospitals, workers in office buildings. And the destruction doesn't stop with collapsed buildings. Water mains will rupture, leaving the city without water for drinking and firefighting. Gas lines will break, causing fires and explosions. Electricity will fail. Roads will buckle. Bridges will collapse. The entire infrastructure of Metro Manila will be crippled. Fire is a major concern. When buildings collapse, gas lines rupture, and electrical systems fail. Fires start. And without water to fight them, fires spread uncontrollably. This is what happened in the 1906 San Francisco earthquake. The earthquake knocked down buildings, but fire destroyed the city. Tokyo in 1923, Kobe in 1995. Fire after earthquakes kills as many people as the shaking itself. And Metro Manila is extremely vulnerable. Dense urban areas, wooden structures mixed with concrete, narrow streets that fire trucks can't navigate, and no water pressure once the mains break. Fire could consume entire neighborhoods. Hospitals will be overwhelmed or destroyed. Many hospitals in Metro Manila are old buildings that may not survive the shaking. Even if they stand, they'll be flooded with injured people. Tens of thousands of casualties arriving within hours. There won't be enough doctors, not enough operating rooms, not enough supplies. And hospitals themselves may be cut off by collapsed roads and bridges. Emergency medical response will be nearly impossible. So if this fault is so dangerous, and everyone knows it, why do 4 million people live on top of it? The answer is complicated and depressing. It's a combination of urban growth, poverty, corruption, lack of enforcement, and simple denial. Let's break down each factor. Metro Manila has been growing explosively for decades. People migrate from the provinces looking for work. The population has doubled and doubled again. And when millions of people need housing, they live wherever they can. Many don't have a choice. They can't afford to be picky about location. If there's land available, even if it's on a fault line, they build there. Informal settlements, shanty towns, they spring up on any available land, and that includes land directly on the fault trace. Poverty is a huge factor. Wealthier Filipinos can choose where to live. They can afford homes in safer areas, but poor families take what they can get. If the only affordable land is on the fault, that's where they live, and they know the risk. PHIVOLCS has put up signs. Local governments have issued warnings. But when the choice is between potential death in a future earthquake and homelessness now, people choose shelter now. It's not that they're stupid or reckless, it's that they have no other option. Corruption allows development to continue in areas that should be off limits. Philippine law prohibits construction within 5 meters of an active fault line, but this law is routinely ignored. Developers build subdivisions and condominiums on fault-adjacent land. They bribe local officials to approve permits. They bribe building inspectors to overlook violations. And they market these homes to buyers who may not even know they're in a danger zone. The government has hazard maps. Everyone can see where the fault runs. But enforcement is weak, penalties are light, and money wins. Lack of enforcement is systemic. Even when violations are discovered, nothing happens. Buildings that violate setback requirements remain standing. Illegal structures on the fault trace are tolerated. Local governments don't have the resources or the political will to enforce the law. Demolishing illegal structures is politically unpopular. People vote. And politicians don't want to anger constituents by tearing down their homes, even if those homes are in the most dangerous location possible. And then there's denial. It's human nature. The last major earthquake on this fault was 365 years ago. No one alive has experienced it. It's easy to think it won't happen, that it's some distant, abstract threat. People see the PHIVOLCS signs marking the fault. They know the risk intellectually, but emotionally, it doesn't feel real. So they go on with their lives. They build their homes. They raise their families. They ignore the danger beneath their feet, until it's too late. Subdivisions have been built directly on the fault trace. Entire neighborhoods sit on the most dangerous ground in Metro Manila. PHIVOLCS has identified these areas. They've published maps showing exactly where the fault runs. And yet, development continues. High-rise condominiums market themselves as modern and safe, but many sit near the fault. Schools, full of children, operate on fault-adjacent land. Churches, malls, markets, all of them in the danger zone. What makes it worse is that many people living on the fault don't even know. Real estate developers don't advertise that a property is on a fault line. Buyers don't ask, or they're not told the truth. And so families move into homes that are in the worst possible location for earthquake safety. They're told the building is earthquake resistant. They see a modern structure and assume it's safe. But earthquake-resistant design only helps if the building is built to code. And if it's sitting directly on a fault line, no amount of engineering can save it. When the fault ruptures, the ground itself will tear apart. Buildings will be ripped in half. Foundations will shear. Nothing can withstand that. So what happens when the big one hits? PHIVOLCS has mapped it out in detail. The earthquake will likely happen during the day, when schools are full, when office buildings are packed, when roads are congested with traffic. The shaking will last 30 to 60 seconds, but in that minute, everything changes. Buildings will collapse. Not all of them, but thousands. Older structures will pancake, floors collapsing onto each other, trapping and crushing anyone inside. Schools will become death traps. Children will be buried under rubble. Teachers will die trying to protect them. Hospitals will collapse or be so badly damaged they can't function. And that's when they're needed most. Roads will buckle and crack. Bridges will fail. Major arteries like EDSA, C5 and Ortigas Avenue will be impassable. Elevated highways may collapse. Flyovers could fall. This cuts the city into isolated zones. Emergency responders won't be able to reach people. Ambulances will be stuck. Fire trucks can't get through. People trapped in rubble will die waiting for rescue that never comes. Water mains will rupture throughout the city. Metro Manila will lose water pressure. Faucets will run dry. Firefighters will have no water to fight fires. Hospitals will have no water to treat patients. And people will have no water to drink. In the heat, dehydration becomes a killer within days. The city's water supply depends on infrastructure that's vulnerable to earthquake damage. And once it's broken, repairs could take weeks or months. Power will fail across Metro Manila. The electrical grid will be damaged. Power lines will fall. Substations will fail. The city will go dark. Without electricity, hospitals can't operate. Refrigeration fails. Food spoils. In the tropical heat, without air conditioning or fans, the most vulnerable, the elderly and the sick, will suffer. And without power, communication becomes nearly impossible. Cell towers will be damaged or lose power. Landlines will fail. The internet will go down. People won't be able to call for help. Families will be unable to contact each other. The chaos will be magnified by the inability to communicate. Fires will break out across the city. Gas lines ruptured by the earthquake will ignite. Electrical fires will start. And without water, these fires will spread unchecked. Dense urban neighborhoods will burn. People who survived the initial collapse will die in fires, and firefighters will be helpless to stop it. This is the nightmare scenario. And it's not speculation. It's what happens in major urban earthquakes. Tokyo, 1923. San Francisco, 1906. Kobe, 1995. Mexico City, 1985. The pattern repeats. Shaking knocks down buildings. Fire destroys what's left. The death toll will be horrific. PHIVOLCS estimates 34,000 deaths, but that's just the immediate casualties. More will die in the days and weeks after. From injuries that can't be treated because hospitals are destroyed. From fires, from lack of water. From disease outbreaks as sanitation systems fail. The real death toll could be higher, much higher. And the injured, 114,000 according to the simulation, will overwhelm whatever medical capacity survives. Triage will be brutal. Doctors will have to decide who gets treatment and who is left to die. It will be a humanitarian catastrophe. The economic impact will be staggering. Hundreds of thousands of buildings destroyed, infrastructure ruined, businesses closed, jobs lost. Metro Manila is the economic heart of the Philippines. When it stops, the entire country suffers. Recovery will take years, maybe decades. The cost will be in the trillions of pesos, and that's just the physical reconstruction. The psychological trauma will last a generation. Can anything be done? Yes, but it requires action now before the earthquake hits. First, stop building on the fault. Enforce the 5-meter setback law strictly. No new construction within the danger zone. Existing structures on the fault need to be identified and, where possible, relocated. This is expensive and politically difficult, but it's necessary. People living on the fault trace are living on borrowed time. Second, retrofit vulnerable buildings. Old schools, hospitals, and government buildings need to be structurally reinforced to survive shaking. This is expensive, but the cost of retrofitting is far less than the cost of rebuilding after collapse. Prioritize critical infrastructure. Hospitals must remain operational after the earthquake. Schools must be safe for children. Fire stations and police stations must survive, so emergency response is possible. Third, enforce building codes for new construction. Make sure buildings are actually built to code. Increase inspections. Punish violations severely. Revoke business licenses. Imprison corrupt inspectors and developers. Make the consequences so severe that cutting corners isn't worth the risk. And make it clear to buyers which buildings are truly earthquake resistant and which are just claiming to be. Fourth, prepare the population. Earthquake drills need to be mandatory and frequent, not just in schools but in offices, malls, and communities. Everyone needs to know. Drop, cover, hold on. Everyone needs to know where the safe zones are, where assembly points are, and what to do in the critical first minutes after shaking stops. And every household needs an emergency kit. Water, food, first aid, flashlight, radio. The government can't save everyone. People need to be prepared to survive on their own for at least 72 hours. Fifth, improve emergency response capacity. Pre-position search and rescue equipment across Metro Manila. Train more responders. Conduct regular large-scale disaster drills that involve multiple agencies. Build redundancy into critical systems. Water, power, and communication need backup systems that can survive the earthquake. Because when the big one hits, the first 72 hours are critical. That's when the most lives can be saved, but only if responders have the tools, the training, and the access to do it. And finally, public education. People need to understand that this threat is real. It's not some distant, abstract possibility. The fault is overdue. The earthquake is coming, and it could happen tomorrow. Families need to talk about it, make plans, know where to meet if separated, know the risks, because denial kills. And too many people in Metro Manila are in denial. The Marikina Valley Fault is not a secret. PHIVOLCS has been warning about it for years. The hazard maps are public. The simulations have been published. But 4 million people still live on top of the big one. Some because they have no choice. Some because they don't know. And some because they're choosing to ignore the danger. But the fault doesn't care. It's locked. It's accumulating stress. And when it ruptures, it will kill tens of thousands and destroy a city. The only question is when, and whether Metro Manila will be ready. Subscribe to this channel for earthquake preparedness, disaster coverage, and Philippine geology. Share this video with anyone in Metro Manila, because the big one is coming, and the time to prepare is running out.